So, we have our first matchup of Alex versus mwar, whatever the name is. And after I got sweeped, he now has to defend the honor of TrashcanTV in a way. mwar does have a lot of late game cards, Soundcry being the only early play here. Alex gets the Glacial Shard, which he probably doesn't want to play on one. So, Soundcry of course goes down, so mwar being ahead on the board, but I don't think Alex worries about that too much. He does freeze it though, just to get something down, and also simultaneously, of course, not get hit, because you're trying to avoid as much as possible. Of course, he does already have the healing rain, so doesn't have to worry too much about his health in the early parts, but you only have so much healing in the deck. Telltale is always a good play, but yeah. There goes. So yeah, Telltale is of course always great. Having the ooze on the hand is also very valuable for when the weapons come down like Super Collider, which can really fuck you up in this one. Life Drinker, of course, setting up the combo. The only things right now he needs is the Coppertail Imposter being played, and then having Shudderwock and Grumble on his hand, and he can start using the combo then. Denomatic taking out the entire board, that's pretty exact there, that's nice. Alex just putting out a totem and using the Glacial Shard, of course, which is a 3-2 thanks to Kalseth. I think mwar has a lot of potential plays here with the Militia or the Ooze or the Tar Creeper. Or playing the quest in the first place, yeah, that's an idea. And then plays out the Tar Creeper, of course. Militia you want to keep for probably turn 9 or at least 6 to play multiple ones. Hex is nice, but not really against that. There's better cards that you want Hex in there. It is not, in fact, a snake. I wonder how often he's going to say that. Super Collider is there, but not really useful. It's probably going to be the Dire Horn Hatchling, yeah. Which then would in turn be a decent target for hexing, so that you don't get the 6/9 Dire Horn in the deck. 4/4 Life Drinker is really good, of course. As well, would then have to be comboed with the Hero Power probably, because you don't want to really waste any of the other 3-drops. Decides to go for the Hex, and gets another Stoneclaw totem that depicts a Murloc walking past a totem. Amani Warbear comes down. Alex might be happy about that as well, because he likes that card. Maybe not as much when he's facing it, but clears the board for the most part. The Wrath of Air totem is not that dangerous, of course. Farsight is an option for draw. Life Trigger is still an option afterwards, or Volcano to clear the board, which seems sensible enough. Coppertail Imposter being drawn is really good because that sets up his combo. And he just has to actually go through with that by drawing the Walk and Grumble. Stonehell Defender, of course, producing more taunts. Goldshaft Footman being the only one he can play this very turn. Tarlord probably being the best one. Goes for the Dire Horn, which is about on par with the Tarlord. Zilix is a good draw. Coppertail Imposter is going to go down, as it might just be the Life Drinker, because Zilix, while being a good draw, isn't that huge in this situation. Yeah, Totem comes down as well. Alex just trying to re-establish his board, while sometimes he's also healing up a bit, which isn't a bad thing. Anyways, Brawl is pretty good, but you might want to use it when the Shudderwock comes down, because the Shudderwock comes down with stealth, but he can still be hit by the Brawl, so that's just a good way to get rid of the combo right away, because the Shudderwock doesn't bounce the turn it's played. So Quest is also ready, so he can start pushing the 8 damage every turn, next turn if he so desires. Or you can just keep playing control. Ziliax on the Coppertail Imposter is of course huge, but doesn't help that much this very turn. But it's of course a big threat that you have to deal with by ways of, let's say, Iron Big Owl, for example. Bring it down to a 4/4 from a 9/8 lifesteal taunt. Yeah, that's good. It's a good time for the owl. And then it's either probably Sulfurous or... Super Collider is also an option to take out the 2 4-attack minions. 2 mana left for the tank up. Decides to not yet go with the Sulfurous, which I don't think is necessary in this matchup if he can actually eliminate the...
Snake!
No, I was talking about the Shudderwock. If you can eliminate the Shudderwock before that can get recurred, so there's a few options there. Reckless Flurry can clear the board, but it's probably not necessary right now. Grizzly is a good taunt just to control the board. Sulfurous is coming down and has, of course, exactly the 2 mana left. He wants to hero power, can take out the board first, and can just start pushing damage now. And I think Alex is going to have a decent enough time to deal with it at first, because he can Healing Rain to stabilize. He can do that twice, but he has to draw Grumble soon, and even then, with the Brawl, it just might be over. Volcano and Healing Rain seem like a good play right there. Oh yeah, right. They do have a combined 16 health, which means that the Volcano won't perfectly clear it. He's thinking about whether or not he wants to get a totem out with a 1 in 4 chance for the Wrath of Air totem, but the problem is that then still has 2 health, so that's why he didn't do that. Then he Healing Rains to get to full, and then he plays a totem, hoping for the Stoneclaw totem, of course, to protect himself from some more damage. It is the Searing totem. Either way, it's probably going to be taken out by the... It might just be taken out by the weapon, because you want to hit face with the hero power, of course, and you don't want to kill your Grizzly. Or you can just rush into it with an Armani Warbear, that's fair enough. Hits the Die Insect, of course, into face. 12 healing from the Healing Rain might be coming up right now. Farsight's also a good draw, because he really needs the Grumble right now. Mana Tide for more draw is very valid, especially when it's for free. He could play the Chief Inspector. It's not like the Warrior's running any secrets for obvious reasons. Decides to go for Healing Rain though for stabilization, which is also very sensible, because there is 12-20 damage on board if he can take out the Mana Tide, which he could with, for example, Reckless Flurry. There is the second Brawl coming up. Not really that useful right now. I would wait till the Shudderwock comes down. Probably is going to trade off the entire board. Could have used the weapon for that, but decides to go with the Armani Warbear. Potentially keeping the weapon charge up for a future turn, because you want to clear the board every turn, of course, when using the Die Insect. Hero power. Ornery gets Divine Shield for extra stickiness. Hex would be an option against that. Hagatha doesn't really kill that much right there, which is a bit awkward. Oh yeah, with the Chief Inspector, he of course could potentially draw the hero power, but if mwar decides to just go face with everything, clear the board off with Reckless Flurry, and then hero power, he just wins. Decides to... Wait, oh no, that would have been 12, my bad. Clears the board with a hero power. Alex happy that he has his combo together. Shudderwock only healing him 6, but also providing another target for the hero power, which could take it out, and also there's still the Brawl that has a decent chance of taking it out, so we'll see where this goes. Hagatha would provide 5 more armor and take out 2 of the minions, one of which of course is not really a threat. Goes up to 19 health, could take another 17 from just what he sees, so that's also very dangerous. So it's either Shudderwock or Hagatha really, and I think hero power, Hagatha would definitely be a valid play. Goes for Life Drinker from, yeah, and of course the Glacial Shards happen to hit really badly. The Gluttonous Ooze is really good because it takes out the weapon and gives him more armor, so that's definitely good stabilization. But now a simple Brawl or Die Insect takes out the, Shudderwock and basically kills the entire deck, because I don't think the Shudderwock Shaman can really come back from that without the Shudderwock itself. I mean, Hero Power first doesn't make a difference because it deals to all minions. Has 16 damage and a Dire Horn, so going down to 5 doesn't really look that good. Alex can now try, of course, fishing with Hagatha, but probably not going to save him. And nothing. And that is the end of the first game. So the second matchup is Shudderwock Shaman versus Odd Paladin. The Odd Paladin has always been able to kind of charge down the Shudderwock Shaman, and both decks have of course been nerfed since then. But I think that the nerfs to Shudderwock are more impactful in here than the other ones. mwar ditching his entire hand, gets a Righteous Protector and Lost in the Jungle for early game, and a Vine Cleaver for late game stabilization. Alex ditches everything except Far Side, hoping to just fish for something later on. Doesn't get any early plays, but that's not really what the deck does. But right now he's just looking for Volcanoes and Healing Rains to stay alive and control, and hopefully win the late game. Hagatha is definitely also good for that, because it clears the entire board a lot of times against more aggressive decks with small minions like the Odd Paladin. Odd Paladin just doing Odd Paladin things, going wide on the board with very small minions. Glacial Shroud really not being too impressive right there, decides to go for the Totem, hoping to just save 2 life on that turn. And the Silver Hand plus Archer's Veteran, again, it's Odd Paladin, it just plays out in small minions, deals damage and hits face. Does take out the Wrath of Air Totem. Not entirely certain what he's fearing, but at the very least it reduces the chances for a Stoneclaw Totem. Kel'Seth, of course, being somewhat important here, but in this particular matchup it's not that huge. It does offer some more defensive potential later on. But the Paladin, of course, just gets to fill up the board every single turn. And I think that the Shudderwock is going to be overwhelmed by that relatively fast. Farsight is definitely a good card to potentially draw a cheap board clear. Gets Chief Inspector, but can't play it this turn unless he coins it out. He's going to keep the coin for Hagatha if he needs it. If by turn 7 he's even alive, that's also always a question. Leroy, of course, being a good way to finish off the game once it comes to that, if there is space on the board. Similar problems with Stormwind Champion, that the board is just full right now. Life Drinker, of course, allowing Alex to get some extra healing in there. But that, of course, also allows mwar to trade in there and put something big on the board if he wants to. Goes for the Blessing. And just keeps going face. Is considering whether or not he wants to take out the Life Drinker with his 3 remaining attacks on Silverhand Recruits. Decides to not do it right now. It doesn't really make a huge difference either way. This match is as good as over. Decides to go for the healing and taunt combination rather than taking out 5 damage from the 1-drop. Sensible enough. Stormwind Champion, of course, being huge here. Leroy also swings the game, as does Vine Cleaver. There's enough ways to win.
How am I not drawing 1 removal card? All game. That's crazy.
And Alex is slightly upset about not drawing removal cards once in the entire game, as you probably just heard. So this is mwar's final deck once again. Just like when you face me, it's the Midrange Hunter. He has the exact same lineup. Alex, still on the Shudderwock Shaman, hasn't won a game with it in the entire tournament so far. Has played it 3 times, twice against mwar and once against Raven. Lost all matchups, and Ember is also getting a pretty good start with Candle Shot or Spring Paw on 1, probably Spring Paw to raise them more into it on 2, and then play Animal Companion on 3. Alex does get Glacial Shard to potentially slow it down if he sees the Razormaw play coming. He might also just Hero Power, trying to get a totem to block something for him. Now, whether or not Ember takes out the totem, I believe, depends on the adaptation. A +1/+1 might be interested in taking it out, but Windfury also takes it out. +3 attack would have probably gone face. Alex playing Farsight gets the Coppertail Imposter, which is part of his combo that he wants to pull off. Once again, the idea is to stealth the Shudderwock to then grumble it the turn after. It's definitely an interesting idea, but as we can see here, it doesn't seem to be going that well. Tries to roll into the Wrath of Air Totem maybe for Lightning Storm next turn, but doesn't get anything really. Does get to play some of the battle cries for Shudderwock, and with the Life Drinker on hand, he can start a Shudderwock combo once he draws Shudderwock and Grumble. Master's Call on hand being really good. Draws a Timberwolf, might be interesting here actually, because the Spring Pub with Windfury will then deal 2. Decides to go with Candle Shot instead, trying to get his Spring Pub to stick around, which is fair enough with the option of having Timberwolf next turn. Also, Thunder Rhino not to be underestimated here. If he plays it next turn, he can then play High Mane with Charge on turn 6. Volcano does have the potential to take out the board. It's just a question whether or not Alex wants it right now. It depends on how his threat assessment sees this board. Yeah, the trade and the Life Drinker does allow him to get decent control back, and I think overall this play was probably the better idea because he does get some health back, he does get to have some stuff on the board, and if Ember were to trade the Razormaw in, it would be the same result as Volcano, just with some extra health. Decides to coin out the High Mane, which is definitely interesting, because with Thunder Rhino he could have had it with Charge next turn anyways. And gets Hexed right away. Can just play another one next turn, of course. Alex is just waiting to draw his cards.
Just 2 beasts with Taunt hanging out.
The Totem naturally is not a beast. Plays the other Savannah High Mane. Alex could Volcano it, but of course the Hyenas would still stick around. Manatite allows him to draw some extra cards. Next turn he might consider, depending on the board state, Acolyte of Pain and Volcano, hoping to just finally draw this combo. While Ember is just having everything he could wish for, really. Deathstalker Rexar plus Candle Shot takes out the entire board. Flanking Strike does also take out the Mana Tide. Yeah, Spring Paw does take out the Stoneclaw. There is a lot of possible plays here. Yeah, that's also just valid enough. There's even a third Lynx to take out the Healing Totem, which he chooses not to play. Presumably fearing board wipes, but it would almost have to be Lightning Storm plus Volcano to really take out everything, so that's also valid. Yeah, right. Earthshock prevents the Hyenas from spawning, and then Volcano deals enough damage to take out everything. Searing Totem coming down afterwards, probably the one he least wanted because it's taken out by Candle Shot right away.
Wow.
Ember plays the Deathstalker Rexar, which also takes out the Searing Totem, and then builds a beast right away. Options being Gentle Megasaur, Cave Hydra, and something, and oh, whoa, that went by fast. He picks Cave Hydra plus Stranglethorn Tiger for a big AoE attacking minion. Sandbiter does draw the Grumble, and Manatite might draw the Shudderwock. It draws Ziliax, which is fair enough for staying alive, but that's a lot of pressure. Decides to go for another Builder Beast in favor of the... instead of the Cave Hydra. Goes for a 7-mana 8/7 with Echo and Rush. The Echo, of course, doesn't matter if it's over 5 in almost any given situation. Life Drinker is an option for stabilization, as is Ziliax, but it's not looking that great. Master's Call is of course not a good draw here right now, but Timberwolf plus Unleash is really good. Cleanly takes out Ziliax, but he probably Flanking Strikes that instead. Gets a Stranglethorn, Vicious Fledgling, which can deal insane amounts of damage really quickly. In a similar vein as how the normal one can, except that it starts with more attack and more health, so that could just... And it also has stealth for the turn's plate, so it could just win the turn after it comes down. Hagatha cleaning the board, giving Alex one more turn. But yeah, the Fledgling is just... it's just so devastating if it's played. Plays it right away.
What?
Plays the Lynx to take out the 2/1. Just to be on the safe side, and this might just be it already. If the Fledgling gets Wind Fury, that's just the end anyways, and between Tundra Rhino and Kill Command and Candle Shot, it actually is either way if he sees that. So, yeah, Alex ending his turn means that mwar wins this game as well. And let's see. Adaptation choices are Volcanic Might, Liquid Remembrance, and +3 attack. Now let's see if he gets lethal. I mean, it wasn't that hard to spot it.
Come on. Really?
And that is another clean sweep for mwar.
All of that? Really, all of that. Sir, well played. I think he beat us 6-0 or something.
Yes, he did.
One lesson that I learned is to not play this Shudderwock anymore. Not play any experimental meme decks against qualified Hearthstone players. So that was my mistake. Worthy winner.
Your Shudderwock is now officially 0-4 in our tournament.
I might have to go back to the drawing board on that one again. That did not look very good at all.
One of the weaknesses of that deck also is that even though it has stealth, the Shudderwock can still be taken out by a lot of AoEs and stuff.
That was the thing with the hero power. Of course, it hits it.
He had double brawl in hand as well, so he had ways to take it out otherwise.
It's not foolproof yet, but since I am a fool, I will go back to it eventually. But very, very well played there. The Hunter matchup right now, I felt like I could have gotten lucky at some certain points to maybe hang on to win this. The Warrior, really no chance. And the Paladin, well, no chance at all. It's a complete mismatch. So, very good lineup you brought, too. Very balanced, and just out-schemed us completely. So, very deserving. You win a free game, Steam game. We're going to send you a list. We'll just tell him that
right.
Off the air. But we'll send him a list, and he's the first person to get to pick a free Steam game. He's the first person to beat us both in this tournament.
He's also the second person to play us. So.
Yeah, second person to play us. So, congrats. We'll take on many more comers. Whoever wants to show up and play us, join the group. Link is probably in the description of this video or in the comments somewhere.
Yeah, there's links everywhere.
So do that, and thank you for playing War. We'll see everyone watching in the next one. JJ.
That's it.
That's it.